What's going on, everyone? This is Uche Njoku, and welcome to this episode of the Sneaker Principle Podcast. Today is the 23rd, so it's the day before Christmas Eve, and been thinking about my kids, Noah and Musa, and my hope is that one day these recordings, these podcasts, exist in a space where they can access them and be able to look back and say, "Hey, this is what our father thought about, and thought about us, all those years ago." As you guys know, recently my father passed away, and as my siblings and I were having various conversations about his funeral and trying to confirm information about him, it was odd to realize there was so much about him that we did not know or didn't have information about. Nothing mind blowing, but simple things that you don't think about until you have to think about them. And I don't want to make this podcast one that is morbid or sad or anything like that. But I do think about my children. I think to myself how these recordings will come to make sense to them down the road. But as I was saying earlier, Christmas Eve, I'm thinking about them. This morning I got up nice and early, and I start to wrap some gifts. I ordered some stuff that should be coming in today. I know, please don't judge me. Things that should be coming in on the 23rd. I know some of you guys have been shopping since November, Black Friday, or after Thanksgiving. Some of you guys have been shopping since summer. Some of you have been shopping since last year. But I don't quite, follow those traditions and cultures around the importance of gift giving and the holidays and Christmas and all that. Because I believe the greatest gifts that I can give them are the pathways that I'm creating for them. That is the greatest gift. The Barbie doll or the miniature car box set or the number blocks or the various other things that they want in this season because it changes every year. Those things are cool, but they're not legacy building. And that's something that's very important to me, and that is legacy building. How am I setting them up for their future in a way that is undeniable? Not hopes, not wishful thinking, but very clear that this is here for you as an opportunity to take advantage of for the long haul. This is something that's extremely important to me. And I'll tell you, this is something a lot of us don't think about. You know, yes, we want to make sure our kids go to college. Yes, we want to make sure our kids are provided for. Yes, we want to make sure that if we're not here, that financially there's insurance and all those other things in play, just in case. But I also wonder about what are we doing for them, rather than in the space of that temporal, qualitative, things we do as far as setting up like accounts and things like that. But I'm also thinking, I also think and ask myself about the qualitative. And I ask you to think about this. What are the qualitative things you're doing for them? For your children? For the children that you're in charge of? And this is something that I think about also as a principal. Because at the end of the day, the kids that come into my school, I have some level of responsibility for them. It's not just about babysitting them for 6.5 hours and give them, tutoring sessions around math, ELA, and social studies and science and art. It's also about figuring out what is it that I'm doing? What is it that we are doing to give them tools that they can lean on for the future? Qualitative tools. Like, for example, it's very important to me what schools my children attended. And for a while, I thought the best schools in the country were out of reach because of not being, a millionaire or a billionaire and being able to say, I can send my kids to any school around the world, with tuitions that are 50, 65, 85, $100,000 a year so they can, you know, walk the halls with princes and, you know, and get to know people that are, you know, who are parents that are captains of industry and politics and entertainment and places like that. There's people that tend to have access to spaces that most of us don't. And unfortunately, via a chance encounter, that possibility was made reality. You know, my kids get to attend a school that's ranked in the top 20 schools in the country, top 20 private schools in the country. And I don't say this just to be, you know, to be boisterous and be like, be cocky and say, oh, well, my kids get to go to this school. No, not at all. I'm saying this because this is something that I've been meditating on since before I even had children. Like, what is access? What does that look like? And how do you get it? And it manifested itself in the choices that I made as far as where I went to college, where I did my graduate work. You know, going to University of Rochester was not just yes, I did pull out a map and ruled out the furthest school away from home because I wanted to go as far away from home as possible. And it was University of Rochester, but I was also taken aback by its history. 1850, its founding. You know, its position amongst universities around America and amongst the world, and how there was something to be said about being an alumni of the University of Rochester. And then when the opportunity came for me to do graduate work at Columbia University, please do know that I didn't just go there just because it was Columbia University. I went there because it was Columbia, or it is Columbia University. And I learned something about this thing called legacy. You know, the opportunities that are given to the children of those people who attend these top universities. And I thought to myself, one day if I have children, this is something that could be part of their legacy. Regardless of where they choose to go to school, if they even choose to go to school, the option was there for them. So now that my my kids attend a school that is, arguably one of the best in the country, now, excuse me, and then also their father gets to gift them his alumni status. So as they're applying to institutions, they have the option of University of Rochester and Columbia University, as an option for them for undergrad and graduate school and beyond. This is what I mean when I talk about those qualitative things that we pass on to our children. And as I look at my students at my school, I'm thinking about the same thing. I make sure that my guidance team understand that as they apply to high school, what high school are they applying to? Why are they applying to that school? I don't want to hear that, because my cousin went there. But beyond that, why? What is it that place, at that school, that in that space that's going to give you the leg up, give you, that additional oomph as you now pursue college and beyond? These are things that are very, very important. When we talk about legacy, we talk about our children, and we talk about what we want for them, whether they're children that we birthed. I mean, if you're married, not birthing a child, but that are related to you, that are part of your gene pool, or the children that you've been charged with taking care of. If you're a teacher, you're a school administrator, or like in my case, being a principal, I want every child in my school to have the opportunity to have the best possible outcomes. And I know it's not just grades. I know it's not just test scores. Because if you just win on grades and test scores, then there's so many kids who fall within the same line. And the number of opportunities for all those children are not evenly divvied up. We cannot say that every child is going to get access to the best of anything, because the best of anything is limited. And it's just the way the world works. Supply and demand. There's limited supply and a lot of demand for access. But access requires that spaces are created for certain people to have those benefits, which means that we have to be really conscious about how we position our children for their future. And when I say our children, I'm not just talking about, again, the children that are related to you, but also children that you're in charge of, especially when you're an educator, school administrator, or whatever role you play within the educational system. How are we making sure that every child has access to what they need, whether it's quantitatively or qualitatively? And I think and I believe that qualitatively is the most important thing. But quality is what opens doors, not necessarily quantity. All right, guys. Uche Njoku, Sneaker Principal. I just wanted to share that with you. Pardon me, my coughing. I don't know why my throat is so dry right now. I should have a bottle of water here with me, but I don't. So please again, pardon my clearing of throat and coughing. So call to action. What are the qualitative things apart from what I've shared that you believe need to be provided for your children for them to be successful? Whether it's the children that you are the parent of because you are their parent or adoptive parent or whatever the case may be, or if these are the children that you are in charge of because they are in your classrooms, in your schools, in your school communities. All right. Again, Uche Njoku, Sneaker Principal. Thank you again for your time, and I'll talk to you soon. Be well.